Our headlines today. A plan to transform social care in England is announced by the government, but final proposals are unlikely to be delivered for 3 years.
Health warnings for vulnerable and elderly people as temperatures across the UK are set to drop well below freezing.
Good morning. We've got a sharp frost around first thing this morning, some ice and some wintry showers in the north and the west, but it's going to be later on Saturday and on into Sunday that we've got some potentially disruptive snow on the way.
The British Retail Consortium says a fall in the number of shoppers over Christmas capped a difficult year for retailers. Dan's taking a look at the latest football figures. Dan, morning to you. Look, basically, shops need shoppers, hey?
Morning, Naga, and yes, they do. And these new figures cover an important 3 months for retailers, the so-called golden quarter. That's the really valuable period leading up to Christmas, as well as covering Black Friday. But indeed, new research from the British Retail Consortium shows the number of shoppers was down in all locations, but particularly bad on high streets and shopping centres. Retail parks did a little bit better, in part thanks to free parking. Now, total footfall for the entire year, again, down 2.5%, and that's the second year in a row that's dropped. And it's been a particularly, a really tough year for independent retailers, with thousands of stores closing.
Let's take a look at the papers. The Guardian's reporting that more than a quarter of firefighters who were exposed to toxic smoke during the Grenfell Tower fire have since suffered long-term health disorders, and it says that there are calls for ministers to commission an urgent review after 136 firefighters reported life-changing conditions.
Those under the age of 27 want an employer for life. That's on the front page of Times newspaper. The paper says young people are keen to stay at the same company for twice as long as the previous generation and want secure long-term work.
The Telegraph's reflecting on Sir Nick Clegg's announcement that he will leave his role at Meta. This is the company which owns Facebook, of course, and is doing so just weeks before Donald Trump becomes President of the United States. Your country needs you is the Mirror's headline, as it reports the call by the Royal British Legion for veterans of World War II to join this year's 80th anniversary commemorations for VE and VJ Day.
If the forecast is correct, it will soon be looking like this again.
That was Danny Savage reporting there. Still to come on The World Today, the number of people being hospitalised with flu in England is rising at a concerning rate, according to senior medics. And over 1,000 caravan owners in the UK are taking their case to the High Court. They claim they were ripped off by holiday parks. Around the world and across the UK, you're watching The World Today on BBC News.
A plan to transform social care in England is announced by the government, but it'll take at least 3 years. The Commission won't publish its report before 2028, and care providers say that's too long to wait.
It feels like fiddling while Rome is burning. If the government wants to make this work at scale, we need a completely different approach.
Also on the programme, new amber snow and ice warnings are issued in England and Wales. Roads will be hazardous as temperatures drop as low as -8 degrees. More than a quarter of firefighters who tackled the blaze at Grenfell Tower have reported long-term health disorders since 2017. And from Christmas tree to Christmas treat, why a zoo in Bristol is feeding our discarded decorations to its animals.
At 6, Britain's big freeze as amber warnings are issued for the weekend. Heavy snow and freezing rain across large parts of the UK could bring severe disruption, travel chaos, even power cuts. Also tonight, the number of people being hospitalised with flu is rising at a very concerning rate, say NHS bosses. On the cusp of making history, will 17-year-old Luke Littler become the youngest ever darts world champion tonight? And Puppy Dreams, how you can volunteer to help these babies get ready for life as guide dogs.